how can a business leader cultivate some sort of community or a sense of community? How would you answer that question?
Well, I think, the way that we've done it was through a mastermind, which I think is a great way to do it. I'm a fan of mastermind groups in general. Um, we're in Collective Genius together. I don't know if I'm allowed to
No,
give a
it's
shout
good.
out to Jason
Go.
Medley and Collective Genius, but so our mastermind group is a group of people from all over the country who are real estate investors. So it's people who flip houses. There's some commercial folks in there, multifamily, self-storage, but there's a lot of people who do single family like we do. And so by us all coming together on a regular basis, we get together once a quarter. We get to find other people who are in similar businesses. And so we already have that common bond. And
Hmm.
then it's a matter of finding, other common bonds that you have with people. So for us, we're in Collective Genius. I think there's now about 200 members. And those of us who obviously are in a similar business, and then we talk to each other and realize that we have a common faith, so that we're all followers of Jesus. We kind of formed a group of us because we have similar interests, and started getting together on a regular basis, starting having calls every other week to further connect, not only on business but on personal stuff, on family stuff. And so that's kind of the intentionality I think that's required to build community. I think that every male wants community, whether they know it or not,
Mm.
and they don't know how to find it. I think one of the problems with it is there's not a clear definition for what community looks like,
Hmm.
right? So my definition of community might be a little bit different than your definition of community. And so I define it as people that you can do life with, other men who know me well enough to know when something's wrong without me having to tell them. So I have a friend who my best friend John, who he always asks the question, "How's your heart?"
Mm.
And which is kind of an awkward question, if you're not used to it. And I'm like, "Oh, Kelly's good, business is good, Harrison's good." And he's like, "Oh, okay, great. Well, how's your heart?" And so he's asking a deeper question. He drives to a deeper answer. And so constantly asking those deeper questions, he's pulling out, what really matters most, what's in my heart, what am I
Mm.
thinking about?
Mm.
And so I think it requires being authentic with each other. If I'm going to try to live on the surface and not share what's really going on in my heart, what my fears are, what my concerns are, you never get beyond the surface level conversation.
Yeah.
So I think as business leaders, we have to find other people who are in similar businesses or similar life phases, similar kids age group, and you have to find people who are willing to be authentic. And I think you have to find people who are willing to be intentional about pursuing that relationship, and then be willing to put in the time, put in the road miles.
Yeah. No, I think you just kind of described your vision, which is my next question, the vision of creating a thriving community, just about being intentional and just going deeper. I mean, I think that's, again, why we create Iron Deep, is just to try to go a little bit deeper, because, again, the definition of community, a lot of people would say, hey, let's go see the Braves game, get some wings, which is some sort of sense of community,
That's great.
but do they really know each other? Do they know when something's off or going on? I love that question. How's your heart? Because
Hmm.
that's a deep question, and a lot
It
of times we
is.
don't think about it. We
Yeah.
just go through life. We wake up. We do the same things, and we don't really take a step back. I'm like, you know what? How is my heart? Why did I make that decision, or
Right.
get upset in that way? So that's a great question. Does that like throw you off when someone asks you that? Because a lot of times, again, you said it's kind of an awkward question that you just get out there, and that, like, it might throw men off. But obviously you guys have that sort of relationship that you've had maybe the road miles, right?
Yeah, we've been, we get together at least once a week for coffee or lunch, and then we talk on the phone probably another once or twice a week, and have done that for 12 years, 13 years.
Mm.
Um, so I would say that's kind of how I learned to build community, was from John. He's 67 now, so a little bit further in age than I am, and much smarter than I am. And so really he pursued a relationship with me after we met the first couple of times. For whatever reason, he thought that it would be a good idea to be in community with me, and I didn't know what that looked like
Yeah.
exactly, but he continued to pursue me and reach out and, hey, let's get together. And he made it a priority on his calendar. Let's put it on the calendar and let's stick to it. And so I learned from him what that looked like. And then I was able to use that in other relationships as I've, tried to build community with other people. So
Mm.
we have had the time together, which has been great. But I think the question, it is a little bit off-putting. I think you probably don't want to hit somebody with it on the first time you go get wings
Yeah.
together. They might be like, well, you're kind of strange. But um, I think, once you have had several conversations with someone and you've both identified that you want to find community, you're looking for community, you're trying to find other people who are in a similar life phase that you can do life with. And you meet a couple of times, then I think it's okay to talk about, hey, we want to be authentic.
Mm.
Let's talk about we can certainly go have fun and go to the Braves game or go have wings or whatever. Let's do that too. But sometimes let's have deeper conversations. Let's talk about, how's your marriage? How's your kids?
Mm-hmm.
We've in some of the groups that I've been involved with, we've had guys go through divorces. We've had people go through affairs and parenting issues. We've had a couple of guys who had to have their teenage kids kidnapped in the middle of the night from their house and taken out, to Utah to go through a 3-month long program. And
Mm.
those are real life things that happen.
Yeah.
And, I think that this world and society is not set up to make family and faith an easy thing. And I think it's constantly coming at us. And so that's real life. That's what it looks like. And so having other men who can step in and, help you work through those real life challenges is what community is all about.